Hello, my name is Brandon Grimm, and this is my assignment for the Assignment 1 project for engineering analysis. This is me. Hello. So first we're going to start off with my code. At the very top we have basically import cmath, which basically just allows me to do most math functions. And we have two parts to my code. We have the main, and then we have the user-defined functions up here. So we're going to start with the user-defined functions. At the first one, we have the user-defined function for conversion of delta to y. I'll help you zoom in for that. For this, we're defining our three variables, za, zb, and zc. We have our round function, which just helps us round up or down. And we have our basic just equation for it. We have it set up into two sides. We have the real side and the imaginary side, kind of in this format, a plus bj. This is our a side, and this is our b times j side to set up our imaginary, real, imaginary. And we do the same thing for za, zb, and zc, just changing some of the values up a little bit just for each formula. And it's pretty much all the exact same for y to delta, but just with its respective formulas for each. We have our return. It returns the za, zb, and zc function, or the equations to our main function when we call it. In our main, we have our loop, which says while this is true, which helps us set up down there. We have an input for a string, I believe. It'll say enter type of network, and we can choose either delta or y. If we have our if, else if, or if, elif, else, we have those. It's not C. I'm still using my C terminology here. I'm trying to transfer it over to Python, but for our if, we have if it's delta, if our network that we typed in is delta, we perform the delta to y conversions. We have our ZA, or ZAB, ZBC, and ZCA that we have to do a complex input for, and it'll ask what is the impedance for ZAB in the format of A plus BJ. And then for ZBC, it'll ask the same thing. We enter that, so let's say it's 1 minus 2J, or 3 plus 5J. So we'll just input that, and then it will do a callback to our delta to y, and then it will print it'll do the callback, it'll perform the function, the operations, depending on which one it calls back. For this case, it's delta to y, and then it will print the za is equal to what za is after doing this formula. And it's pretty much the exact same thing with the else if it's delta, if it's y, and for this one, if it's y, it'll perform pretty much the exact same thing, calling back the y to delta user-defined function instead, and it'll just pretty much do the same thing. And then we have our else function. So if or else if, and then if it's not anything listed, if it's an improper, so let's say we say delta, or we just say pizza, we say pizza, it'll say invalid input, try again. And then it will move on and will ask us, it'll define repeat, would we like to start over, yes or no? If the repeat does not equal yes, it stops the function, the end. If it does equal yes, it goes back up to the main, and we re-enter everything again. So let's go ahead and test the code and run it real quick. So first off, it's going to ask what type of network do we want, and I'm doing this one-handed. We're going to say, let's do delta. We want a delta. That's not how you spell delta at all. Enter. All right, perfect. Now it's running this one, delta. It's asking for ZAB. Perfect, ZAB. Now what do we want? Let's say 2 minus 4J. Sure. All right, now it is asking for ZBC. We'll just give it 3 plus 1J. And ZCA, 4 plus 6j. Why not? Enter. Then it gives us what our network is. Z of A is equal to this, Z of B is equal to this, and Z of C is equal to this. Perfect. Do we want to start over? Sure, because I would like to show you all my delta or y to delta. So we shall say not ye, we will say yes, and it will start over. Perfect. So now let's type in W-Y-E, capital W. Perfect. Now we are looking for Z of A. Perfectly. Looking for Z of A. Alrighty, what do we want Z of A to be? 2 minus 7j. And we will do 9 minus 1j. And why not 2 plus 2j? Simple. Perfect. It gives me my respective values. Z of AB is equal to this, Z of BC is equal to this, and Z of CA is equal to this. Is that correct? Yes, it is. Perfect. And, you know, I've already showed it. I don't feel like running it again, so we're going to say no. Code execution successful. Perfect.